So today is going to be my little review of a film that came out. I think it came out 2 years ago, or I think it was 2 years ago. Anyway, came out a little while ago. That I personally didn't see this when it was in theaters, but I think people were so ready to declare this one a new Disney classic. It was unreal. So many things of reviewers all over the internet going, "This is brilliant. This is amazing. This is the next big Disney classic." I'm of course talking about Coco. Coco was kind of one for me that I have had occasions in the past where there are certain Disney or Pixar movies that I haven't seen when they've been in theatres. They just kind of pass me by. But then I kind of get curious enough with them that I eventually buy them just and watch them through just to see what all the fuss is about. And I do agree. For example, I've had this done with Inside Out, Wreck-It Ralph, and Zootropolis. Over here in England, it's called Zootropolis, not Zootopia, for anyone who might be a bit confused. But anyway, the film Coco follows a young boy from Mexico called Miguel, who his family doesn't like music. They've outlawed music, and they just say, "No, no, you will not be a musician." He wants to be a musician, but they don't want it. And yet, on the day of Dia los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, he attempts to prove himself as a musician by stealing the guitar of a famous dead musician, Ernesto de la Cruz, and in doing so ends up in the land of the dead. He ends up befriending a skeleton dead man named Hector, and it's kind of up to them to try and find a way for him to get back to the land of the living and prove himself as a musician. Now, there are so many people across the internet who just say this is a brilliant film, and as with previous films, it's one that I didn't see when it came out. I just thought, maybe not. And but then there were so many people praising it across the internet that eventually I got a bit curious and thought, okay, I'll buy it. I'll pop it in and see if it's any good. And everyone mentions how they kind of get teared up at the kind of last 5 minutes, which I won't spoil. Believe me, I don't have the authority to spoil this. And I didn't realise I was crying until kind of directly after the film has ended. I thought to myself, okay, yeah, that was good. And then I turned, and then I suddenly realised I had been crying. And then that just added so much more weight to it. Because I've had a bit of a... Pixar has kind of created so many great films over the years that they've kind of defined people's childhoods, which is fair enough. And for me, I think it's very much the same. I mean, I remember for the first few years of my life, I don't really remember anything before age 5, but I remember that we had at least, and we managed to get eventually, the VHS tapes of the first 5 Pixar movies, i.e. Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., and Finding Nemo. I have fond memories of those VHS tapes, and I remember watching them through. I thought they were good. After that, after VHS kind of died out, we got the DVD of The Incredibles, and that DVD for me still holds up to this day. I mean, I remember I watched the Monsters Inc. VHS apparently so much that I eventually wore it out. Eventually got the DVD of that one as well. So, yeah, I love those VHS tapes, and I loved the DVD of The Incredibles, which still works to this day. Um, after that, I do remember a period in my life where we did go to see each Pixar film. I remember going to see Cars, Ratatouille, Wall-E, and Up, which I know I have heard people kind of compare Coco and Up, saying that it does have some of those moments that just make you so sobbing with tears. With Coco, it's near the end. With the song, with Up, it's kind of the first 5 minutes. Now, Toy Story 3 came out when I was kind of in high school. So, I don't know, maybe I was just at a point in my life. I didn't see it when it was in theatres, but it was a big thing. Everyone was talking about it. And eventually we did end up getting the DVD of it, which I've watched through, and yeah, I think it's good. Cars 2 I didn't end up seeing in theatres. I eventually kind of looked it up on Wikipedia, and I think many people I've seen they kind of agree that it's one of Pixar's weaker works. I do remember going to see Brave at the cinema, and thanks to a relative from the past a few years ago, I did manage to get it on DVD. So watched through a Brave, which I love. And I do remember, while we didn't go to see it in theatres, I remember we got Monsters University when it came out on DVD. I've already mentioned Inside Out, which I didn't see at the time in 2015. I think I wanted to see it in 2015, but then we eventually ended up going to see Minions, which isn't bad, but yeah, it's okay. But I eventually kind of got curious enough with Inside Out to purchase it, pop it in, and yeah, I admit I did love it. I didn't go to see any of the next three, i.e., The Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, or Cars 3. There's probably nothing wrong with them. I mean, I looked up eventually and I found that I think people agree that The Good Dinosaur has good visuals and it's probably one of the most stunning looking Pixar movies ever, but the story is not the strongest. And personally, I didn't go to see Finding Dory or Cars 3. I made a special effort to see The Incredibles 2, and I also had the DVD of it when it came out. But as I said, with Coco, I kind of just at first let it pass me by, thinking, oh, okay, it's another Pixar movie, I'll just let it pass. But then there were so many people saying that you should see it if you get the chance. So eventually I got curious, and I did end up seeing a lot of kind of clips from it or Cinema Win's video of everything great about it, which I did get a lot of the story. So eventually I got curious enough, I bought it, popped it in, and yeah, I mean, not only is it one of the most beautiful Pixar movies they've done, I mean, I personally didn't see The Good Dinosaur, but I imagine it's probably kind of on a kind of similar level of that. This thing is just beautiful, from the sincere detail they have down on the skeleton's bones, down to the beauty of the land of the dead, and the kind of petal blossoms that they use throughout the film. It's just beautiful. But but then the story as well, it holds up. I mean, as I said, I think one of the critiques people have about The Good Dinosaur is it has amazing visuals, but not necessarily the strongest story. I think this one has a mixture of both. I mean, it's got the right amount of stuff that'll make you have eyes wide at the screen, trying to take in every little minute detail that passes you by. It's got likable characters, a likable plot, beautiful look to it, and it does have a moment at the end that just it makes you feel something deep. I mean, I also think it's a great movie to watch if I, like most people in the world, have gone through loss in my time. I've lost kind of family members, friends, kind of. We all have someone who we've kind of lost who's passed over to the other side, and we kind of wish we could see them again. And just this movie, I think, is just the perfect way to kind of deal with that. Just to have that. I mean, in most cultures, have some idea of the afterlife, and Pixar shows it with this one so beautifully that I honestly can't say anything more about it. I mean, this is just beautiful. I mean, I admit I do have other Pixar movies that I do love more, for example, The Incredibles, but this was just beautiful. And I frankly love it. And I think if you get a chance, you should definitely check out Coco. I don't really know what else I could say about it. It's just beautiful. Anyway, until next time, see ya.